Music fades in. Tonight, we're going back to the cold, silent waters of the Atlantic to witness a tragedy that changed the world forever before the Titanic hit the iceberg, before the screams, the chaos, the freezing darkness. There was a young man, 25 years old, working inside the ship's communication room. He stayed at his post until the rising water reached his feet. And even then, he refused to leave. He kept calling for help, long after it no longer mattered. And this is where the Titanic's mysterious story truly begins. A dream born in 1912. In 1912, newspapers proudly printed the Titanic's picture in bold letters, its ticket prices, its luxurious design. Everything about it was a challenge to the world. Two giant companies were competing for dominance in transatlantic travel. The White Star Line didn't want to be the fastest. They wanted to be the most luxurious. Their motto was simple: speed isn't everything. Who wants to cross an ocean while being sick the entire time? Soon, the Olympic was launched, the largest ship humanity had ever seen. And right behind it came the ship we all know, RMS Titanic. 200,000 people gathered just to watch her touch the water for the first time. Those who stood there said it felt like the earth itself was moving. She was a giant, so massive that even a single anchor weighed 15 tons. April 10th, 1912. Titanic departed England under Captain Edward Smith, a man on what was supposed to be his final mission before retirement. The warnings began the moment she left port. Icebergs on the southern route. But this was nothing new. The Atlantic was full of such messages. At 9:30 p.m., another ship, the Mesaba, sent a clear warning. Large ice fields ahead. The message was received, but never delivered to the captain. Why? Because the two radio operators were busy sending paid telegrams for first-class passengers, the social media of that era. A sea too calm, a night too dark. The temperature dropped, the sea turned unnaturally smooth, like a sheet of glass. There was no moon, only darkness. In the crow's nest, the lookout switched shifts, and shortly before midnight, a dark shape appeared on the horizon. Iceberg right ahead! 3 bells, a frantic phone call, a desperate turn of the wheel. But a ship the size of a floating city does not turn in seconds. 37 seconds later, Titanic scraped along the iceberg, not head-on, but sideways, allowing the ice to peel open the hull like a razor. 5 compartments began to flood. At 400 tons per minute, the end was already decided. Women and children first! Panic exploded across the decks. Passengers rushed out of their cabins, confused and terrified. In the radio room, distress calls echoed into the night. SOS, SOS. Titanic requires immediate assistance. The closest ship, the Californian, was only 32 kilometers away, but its radio operator had gone to sleep hours earlier. Only the distant Carpathia responded, and it was 4 hours away. Titanic had less than 2. The final moments. The bow sank deeper. The stern rose higher. Flares shot into the sky, one after another. But Captain Lord of the Californian couldn't decide whether they were distress signals or not. By 2:15 a.m., Titanic stood nearly upright, and at 2:20 a.m., she slipped beneath the ocean forever. 1,500 souls, mostly men and lower-class passengers, were lost. Captain Smith, on his last voyage, went down with his ship. What really killed them? Hours later, dawn revealed the iceberg, still marked with the paint and steel of the Titanic. In water barely above freezing, survival was nearly impossible. A modern test showed that even at 12 degrees Celsius, warmer than that night, motor skills dropped by 40% in minutes. Hypothermia came quickly, painfully. Those who fell into the sea likely survived no more than 30 minutes. A disaster. Years in the making, investigators later discovered that the Titanic's rivets, made of older, weaker iron, popped out one by one as the hull scraped the iceberg. A 9-meter opening was enough. Had Titanic hit the iceberg head-on, she might have survived. But fate had other plans. No moon, a flat sea, a cold mirage that hid the iceberg until it was too late, and a piece of ancient ice formed from snow that fell thousands of years earlier, drifting for 300 days, waiting in the dark. The aftermath. By 5:30 a.m., the sun rose over a silent sea. Lifeboats drifted among pieces of wreckage. Parents cried for children they would never see again. Husbands watched their families vanish in the cold, and survivors turned back to see what had destroyed their world in just hours. Titanic's story didn't end that night. It only began. In the next episode, we'll explore the real marks left on the iceberg, rare footage of Titanic's wreck, and clues that still puzzle experts today. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for part 2. This is the story of the Titanic.